Barog Railway Station, which is situated in India. There's more to scenic Barog Railway Station, sitting pretty within the misty hills of Himachal Pradesh, than meets the eye on the Kalka-Shimla route. Its haunting story revolves around the British engineer Colonel Barog, who went drowning himself near tunnel number 33 after an engineering project failed. Spirit is said to linger around friendly, yet unnervingly there. One wintry evening, an urban explorer named Arjun arrived at the station. He had heard tales of the colonel, but dismissed them as folklore. Having equipped himself with a flashlight, he set forth toward the notorious tunnel. The air was damp and the darkness impenetrable. As he stepped inside, his footsteps echoed unnaturally. His ears picked up faint whispers, but he could not make out the words spoken. Yet there was something menacing in them. He could hear the whispers growing louder as his flashlight suddenly flickered. Arjun saw ahead a figure in a colonial uniform. "Who's there?" he shouted. The figure turned around with its pale face and hollow eyes. Then it began to laugh, a deep guttural sound that seemed to reverberate through the tunnel. Panicked, Arjun ran back to the station, only to find his backpack, which he had left outside, neatly packed and placed on the platform. Locals later told him that acknowledging the colonel's presence often resulted in his spirit following you, sometimes for days. Arjun claimed to hear laughter in his dreams for weeks. Caobao Road Metro Station, which is situated in China. Shanghai's Caobao Road Metro Station is infamous for its eerie silence at night. Built near an old mortuary, rumours of hauntings persist despite official denials. Liu Wei, a college student, was returning late from a party when she missed the last train. Stranded on the platform, she noticed a woman in a red dress sitting at the far end. Liu tried to look away, but some peculiarity compelled her gaze. The woman half turned, showing a face with no contours. Her eyes, nose, and mouth were nothing more than smooth skin on this bizarre face. Liu's mind had petrified. It flickered again, and when the lights returned, the woman was gone. A moving train came into town, startling Liu, who didn't see a train. What happened next was the tracks began to make a rattling noise, and she felt someone touch her shoulder. She turned slow and saw nothing. She rushed towards the exit. Later that day, Liu saw bruises on her shoulder, just like someone's fingers. Locals understand that this woman in red is a ghostly spirit desirous of taking victims onto the tracks, where an unlucky death has kept her vengeful and restless. Waterfront Station, which is situated in Canada. Waterfront Station, Vancouver, is considered haunted by historical charm and some really spine-tingling hauntings. One late evening, janitor Miguel was cleaning offices in the building when he heard very faint jazz music. Intrigued by the sound, he followed it to a room he knew had no speakers. Inside, a woman wearing a flapper dress of the 1920s was swaying to the music. "Excuse me," Miguel said, but the woman didn't respond. As he stepped closer, she turned to him and smiled, a grin too wide, stretching unnaturally across her face. Miguel stepped back, and the woman dissolved into thin air. He ran out of the office, but the music followed him. That night, the desks in the station rearranged themselves, blocking the office doors. Lights flickered, and Miguel felt an icy breath on the back of his neck. He quit the next day, cautioning his replacement about the flapper lady. "She doesn't like intruders," he said. "Employees today leave offerings of coins or flowers, hoping to appease her restless spirit." Connolly Station, which is situated in Ireland. Connolly Station, Dublin thorny platforms, a sombre, hectic atmosphere. The history is simply chilling. Hundreds were killed during a World War II bombing near the station. and it is said that the ghosts of soldiers now haunt the grounds. Patrick was a night watchman, so he was used to strange noises. That night was different, however. Patrolling along a deserted platform, he heard the sound of marching footsteps. He thought it might be a trespasser and followed the noise to the edge of the platform. There, at the end, stood two men in grey military uniforms, standing at stiff attention. "Can I help you?" he called out, but they didn't answer. Suddenly one turned, gaunt-faced with faint eyes aglow. The two figures disappeared again before Patrick could do anything about it. He reported this too, but his colleagues dismissed it as exhaustion. Days later, on the security footage, it showed Patrick pacing nervously and apparently talking to himself. He swore that even now he could still hear the faint echoes of marching and the odd commands barked in a language he did not understand. To this day, platform workers speak of shadowy figures appearing near midnight, and passengers report cold spots and whispers. Glen Eden Railway Station, which is situated in New Zealand. Glen Eden Station on the west side of Auckland is infamous for its proximity to Waikumete Cemetery. Alec McFarlane was said to haunt the station after he was murdered in 1924. Lisa, a local barista close to the station, met him on the first encounter one rainy afternoon. She saw a fellow in a trench coat standing by the tracks, appearing lost. Approaching, the man faded before her eyes. Lisa heard tapping on her bedroom window one rainy night, though she lived far from the railway station. Checking outside, she found nothing but muddy footprints away. She wanted to know the answers to these questions badly and went to the station on the assumed time of Alec's death, 3 p.m. Sure enough, a shadow figure appeared on the platform. "Leave me be," it whispered, and the temperature around Lisa plummeted. Locals claim Alec's spirit appears to warn people of danger, his death tethering him to the station. And finally, Bigunkador Railway Station, which is situated in India. The Bigunkador station, once abandoned for 42 years, was reopened in 2009 but remains a place of dread. According to a railway employee who stayed overnight there, this is a terrifying account of his experience. There was a train breakdown at the station, leaving passengers behind. Late at midnight, there appeared a woman dressed in white walking along the tracks. Her footsteps were silent. As one of the curious passengers approached her, she turned, showing a hideous face and hollow eyes. Screams began to erupt as she lunged toward him, but she vanished before ever reaching the passenger. The man was found to be unconscious the following morning, and the station master reported that he heard laughter coming from the empty platforms. So far, the night passengers avoided travelling through Bigunkador because they didn't want to meet the ghostly woman.